Hi there, I'm Amanda Castor with Material Girl Quilts. Today I'm going to show you how to make something a little different. We're not making a quilt, we're going to make a cushion cover. So you could of course finish this as a mini quilt, but we're going to show you how to finish it as a cushion cover instead. And this is called the Modern Puzzle, and the reason I'm calling it the Modern Puzzle is because it is based off of this quilt block that when I looked it up in the Encyclopedia of Quilt Blocks, it was called the Old Maid's Puzzle. But who wants to be called an old maid? I mean, I don't, and I don't think this quilt block does either. So we're turning it into a modern twist and we're calling it the Modern Puzzle. So I will show you how to make the top of the cushion cover and also to how to finish it and insert your zipper into the back. Now, as a reminder, if you are a member of Material Girl Society, you will have access to the PDF pattern for this cushion cover, as well as every pattern as it's released each month. And if you are not a member of Material Girl Society, head to my website, materialgirlquilts.com, and click on the membership icon at the menu at the top of the website to learn more. So let's get started. So for each block, we are going to need a total of 4 of the background squares cut at 2.5 inches and 2 of the feature fabric squares cut at 2.5 inches, and then a total of 8 of the feature and background half square triangles and 2 of the accent fabric and background half square triangles. So the first thing we're going to do is create our half square triangles. So we will put background and either the accent or feature fabric right sides together. These are 3-inch squares cut, and we're going to sew 1/4 inch on either side of the diagonal line. I use the 1/4 inch tape on my sewing machine, so I don't need to draw a line, but if you don't have that tape, just draw a line from across the diagonal and then sew 1/4 inch on either side of that line. And once you've sewn on either side of the line, you're going to cut this apart directly on that diagonal. And you can use your rotary cutter and your cutting mat when you're doing all of these. And then you will press these open towards the dark fabric. So these I press towards the background fabric. And then once those are all pressed, you will trim them to measure 2.5 inches square. So once all of your half square triangles have been pieced and trimmed, it's time to make the blocks. So we're going to sew these into rows and then sew the rows together to complete the block. Okay, so now we have all of our rows sewn. We need to press them, and you can press them in opposite directions. So the top row will press to the right, and then the second to the left, and then to the right and to the left, so that your seams can nest. So now that our rows are pressed, we're going to sew the rows together. So now that it's all sewn together, we're going to press the seams open to help it lay nice and flat for when you go to quilt it. And there's your completed block. Now this block measures 6.5 inches, and you'll make a total of 9 blocks for your pillow cushion cover. You will lay those blocks out into 3 rows of 3 blocks each and sew them together as shown. Once they're all sewn together, it will measure 24.5 inches square. Now once the front of your cushion cover is completed, you can then layer it with batting and backing and quilt. And as you can see, that's what I've done here. I just did a simple crosshatch pattern for the quilting. And then after you have it all quilted, you can trim it up, trim off the extra backing and batting and set that aside. And now we are going to put together the pillow backing. So for that, you will need a 24-inch zipper. Now this, I know, does not actually match my fabric very well. It's black zipper and I have navy fabric, but the way we're going to piece this pillow backing, it's not going to matter because this little flap is going to cover up the zipper so you won't see it. So we'll need a 24-inch zipper. You will need a 4-inch, this is cut 4 inches wide by 24.5 inches. And then you will you will press that in half so that it measures 2 inches by 24.5 inches. And this is going to be the flap that covers your zipper on the back. And then you also need to cut 8 inches for the backing section. You'll need to cut an 8-inch by 24.5 inch section of fabric, and then a 17-inch by 24.5 inch rectangle for the back. So the first thing we're going to do is take the 8-inch rectangle and your accent piece that will cover your zipper, and we'll put this to the side so you can see better. You're going to lay those. I know that this isn't all fitting on the camera, but you should be able to see enough to get the idea. So you will lay those right sides together with the raw edges matching, and then you will also lay down your zipper so that it is like the zipper is facing down on top of these, and you can either pin, or I'm going to use these Wonder clips and clip it in place. Now you may want to use a zipper foot if your machine has it, or just a foot that will allow you to sew close up to but not on the actual zipper itself. And we will sew through all 3 of these layers to get this side of the zipper attached. Now a little tip to get started, because like this zipper itself has a pretty big zipper pull. To get that out of the way as you get started, you can pull the zipper back a little bit, start sewing, and then once you get a certain distance down here, you can zip it back up to keep this out of the way of your sewing machine as you sew. Okay, now that the zipper is sewn onto one side, we are going to press this fabric so that this cover flap is over the zipper. Okay, now we need to sew the bottom half of the cushion back on. So you will now take the 17-inch by 24.5 inch section and pin or clip it along the zipper edge here. And again, you'll just sew along that edge and make sure that this little flap that's going to cover your zipper, that it's pulled out of the way before you sew it down. Okay, so now this one we will press towards the blue fabric here again. And once it's pressed, as you see, this flap will cover up your zipper. So you're not gonna have to trim this down if necessary. It should definitely be 24.5 inches wide, but depending on your seam allowance here when you attach your zipper, it may be a little long, so you need to make sure that the length is also 24.5 inches. So you will trim that up, and then we will put this cushion cover completely together. So one other thing I forgot to mention is that I also like to, I don't know how well you can see this, but I did use a contrasting thread. Once the zipper is sewn in, I also like to just kind of edge trim that just to secure the zipper a little bit better and a nice finish. So like an 1/8 inch seam off of, an 1/8 of an inch off of that seam to sew the zipper down a little better. Same with on that side of the zipper. So once you have that completed, you will have your cushion front and your back, and you will place them right sides together and pin or clip all the way around your cushion top. Now you will want to unzip your zipper about halfway so that you can reach in you'll sew all the way around. So you're going to close this up, and then you can reach in through this hole to pull your pillow inside out. Now once you turn your cushion cover right side out, you just put in the pillow insert and you are ready to snuggle. Now I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please make sure you click the like button and subscribe so you don't miss any tutorials going forward. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.